My dear, you once warned me, and now I'm bleeding exactly where you touched. You whispered a storm, and now my heart drowns in it. Your prophecy wasn't loud, but it echoed louder than fate. I laughed at your warning. Now I cry in its shadow. Your words were wings, now they're wounds. You said I'd lose myself, I did, inside your silence. Every word you feared for me became my morning mirror. Your voice broke me before the world ever could. I walked away from your truth, but it followed like a ghost. You didn't curse me, you foresaw me. You predicted the fall, I still jumped. I denied your truth, now I live inside it. You said they'd leave. They did, exactly how you described. I mocked your vision, now it mocks me. What you said wasn't cruel, it was correct. I remember your words more than your touch. Your prediction held more love than their presence. You said it would ache, and it's still aching. You warned me. I wore pride instead of armor. I didn't believe you. Now I sleep in your sorrow. You said I'd beg for peace. I am. What you saw in me, I only see now in pain. You read my future like a wound. You spoke it gently, life delivered it violently. You said my heart would turn against me. It did. I didn't lose to life. I lost to your truth. You knew my fate before I met it. I thought I was stronger than your warning. I wasn't. You said love would vanish. I watched it evaporate. I ignored your prophecy. Now it's my playlist. Your truth didn't kill me, it prepared me. You described the end before the beginning even kissed me. You said I'd regret them. I do, every morning. You spoke like thunder, then silence proved you right. Your heartbreak birthed my future. I now bleed in colors you described. What you said aged inside me like poison. I didn't choose your truth. It chose me. You loved me with warnings. I loved you with blindfolds. You didn't scare me. You saved me too late. Your honesty echoes louder than my regrets. You saw my collapse before I stood tall. You predicted their exit before I met them. I didn't trust your insight. Now I mistrust everyone. You saw me drowning while I thought I could swim. I thought your fears were fantasy. Now they're my routine. You were right. That hurts more than the fall. You drew my future in shadows. Your voice was the map. My ego chose cliffs. You told me they'd change me. They did, into a stranger. You said I'd love too deeply. I vanished in it. Your voice still protects me from myself. Your prophecy didn't break me, it built my skis. You warned me I'd beg for love. I'm starving. I mocked your depth. Now I drown in my shallows. You spoke a language I only understand now in pain. What you saw in the stars, I see in my mirror. You were my warning wrapped in warmth. You said they'd use me. I gave them everything. I now crave the voice I ignored. You painted my downfall before I picked up a brush. You didn't curse me. You translated destiny. You felt the fire before I smelled the smoke. Your truth feels like betrayal, but it's just clarity. I called you dramatic. Now I replay every line. Your silence now sounds like scripture. You were more right than I was brave. You told me what would die in me. It did. You knew the truth I couldn't stomach. You said they'd disappear. They did, mid-sentence. You felt the goodbye before we even began. You whispered it like poetry. Life made it a punishment. You prophesied my ache. I mistook it for fear. I laughed at your vision. I live inside it now. You drew a line I insisted on crossing. Your truth came dressed as a warning. I thought it was fear. You saw the wound forming. I felt it too late. Your words were fate in disguise. You said I'd return to myself broken. I am. If this touched your soul, don't scroll. Like, comment your favorite quote and subscribe for more. Your prediction hurt less than my reality. I now live in the fear you once felt for me. You saw the danger. I called it romance. You warned me he'd leave when I softened. Your words felt sharp. Life feels sharper. You lit a lantern. I walked into the dark. You spoke the loss. I collected the ashes. I ignored you, then begged for your version of love. You said I'd break where I thought I was strongest. Your eyes saw storms behind my smiles. You predicted my silence. Now it's my language. I now mourn the parts of me you once protected. Your truth didn't echo, it lived. I buried your warning. It bloomed anyway. You said they'd kiss me like goodbye. I chose their lies over your painful clarity. You weren't cruel. You were early. Your words were the last shelter I ignored. You said I'd remember this pain. I renamed it you. You whispered fate. I answered too late.